Hi guys, we're going to do the top 20 highest grossing movies of 1984. I did all of the other movies from 1984 in videos already, so please scroll back through and watch all those too. But this year was just crazy stacked with movies, and this top 20 is no exception. There's just the best of what you would call 80s movies, just all from this one year. It's just crazy and amazing. So let's get into it. Number 20 is Red Dawn. And this was the first movie with the PG-13 rating after Steven Spielberg petitioned the movie ratings board with his power to not have an R rating put on Temple of Doom, and Gremlins was the other one, I think, and Poltergeist is in there somewhere. All these movies were coming out that they didn't want the R rating on. I think Poltergeist might actually be R, but see, if this had passed back then, it might have been PG-13. So Red Dawn was directed by John Milius, who's an interesting figure in the New Hollywood Directors Club. Walter from Big Lebowski is a exact. That character was developed after the characterisms of the real life John Milius, if you want to know what kind of person he was. But Red Dawn starred Harry Dean Stanton, who was all over all these 1984 movies. And you'll see that in those other videos. It's just crazy. This was just a big peak period for him. But it's also Brat Pack adjacent. There's some of the people that people think of when they think of Brat Pack, maybe not the necessarily actual members, because the original 6 or 7 members of the Brat Pack is a specific grouping of those young actors. But it's also of note the first time Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey worked together, who they'll come back together in a couple of years in Dirty Dancing, kind of opposite kind of movie than Red Dawn. But number 19, we got Bachelor Party, which I remember talking about in another video. This was early Tom Hanks before he became America's Dad and was in everything, especially with Steven Spielberg again. But it's kind of a boner movie, I guess is the name that Skinamax, skin flick kind of movie, but there's less nudity, a lot more comedy. It also stars Adrian Zmed, who was in that William Shatner TV show, TJ Hooker, and I thought he was going to be a huge star. He was good looking, he was a good actor, he had a lot of energy, and it just never materialized. It's crazy how that works sometimes. Bachelor Party also introduced us to Tawny Kitaen, who became the rock and roll girlfriend, and we all loved her back then. And originally I thought she got naked in this movie, but I saw it recently on YouTube, and it's another girl, and they superimpose her head on it to guilt trip Tom Hanks' character from cheating on her at the bachelor party. And so she's not actually naked in it, but there's some boobies. Number 18 is Breaking. That's kind of cheeseball. I watched a little bit of it. Early Ice-T. Kind of before hip-hop really came into its own. And it's a fun peek into 80s nostalgia. Number 17 is 2010, which was the sequel to Stanley Kubrick's 2001. But it's not actually a movie sequel. It's the sequel to Arthur C. Clarke's 2001. And it's a really good movie. It's got a lot of the same energy as 2001, but it's kind of more of a political thriller. And the cast is just stacked. It's John Lithgow, Helen Mirren, Roy Scheider, Bob Balaban. That's just an amazing movie. I love that movie so much. Number 16 was Revenge of the Nerds. And that's another one of those college comedy things. Now, kind of a boner movie, but kind of in the lineage of Animal House and all of that. It's a little problematic with, it's a little rapey sometimes, but it's still funny. And if you can think of the time, it's really, really a good movie for what it is. Number 15 is Greystoke. And I think that technically the whole title is really super long. It's like Greystoke, The Legend of Tarzan, King of the Jungle, or whatever it is. But I've never seen it. I was a little young for a big epic thing like this. And Tarzan movies were never box office successes usually. I'm surprised that this one got that high, number 15, but I remember it, but I don't ever remember seeing it. There's a lot of those movies through the early 80s there that I just missed because they were grown-up movies and I was a kid. But stars the old guys like Ian Holm and Ralph Richardson, but also Christopher Lambert. And I have my timeline all mixed up. I think it's so crazy that Highlander is so late in the 80s. It's 1986, and I just remember that movie. I would have bet money that that was 81 or 82, and it's just so weird. So this is way before Highlander, and also stars Andie MacDowell, who was kind of the go-to girl for movies in the 80s. She was the I don't know, think of what that archetype is called, but like her and Meg Ryan were kind of the two go-tos in the 80s. Next we have number 14, The Natural. And I just watched this one for free on YouTube just recently. Another one I never saw back in the day because it just seemed like a grown-up movie. Plus it was a baseball movie and I have no interest in sports ball. So it was everything I thought it was. Oscar bait kind of movie. It's sensitive and tells a cool story. But Robert Redford is always amazing. But it also stars Glenn Close, Robert Duvall, Kim Basinger, Wilford Brimley, who's in half of the stuff from the 80s also, Barbara Hershey, Joe Don Baker, who just recently passed away, Darren McGavin, and Michael Madsen, a real young Michael Madsen, and he just recently passed away. So R.I.P. to those guys. Number 13 is Tightrope. This was a Clint Eastwood movie that I never saw, but it seems really interesting. The description that I found for it was psychological mystery, crime, action, thriller. So it just seems like a lot, and I bet it's amazing. Number 12 is Amadeus, and I'll go on record and say that I think this is the best music biopic of a real life celebrity ever made. So good. One of my favorite movies of all time. Number 11, Purple Rain. Luckily, the character in Purple Rain is technically not a real person, so it's not really a biopic. But height of Princess Powers, so good. Dearly beloved, purify yourself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka. That scene was very inspirational to me as a young lad. And I saw it recently on YouTube and they cut out that scene. And it makes me so mad because that was such a developmental part of my childhood. Number 10, Splash. Once again, Tom Hanks rising through the ranks of becoming one of the greatest actors of all time. One of the first Ron Howard big budget movies. This was technically a comedy, but it falls right into that, what do you call it? The building of the legacy of those guys. And Daryl Hannah is obviously gorgeous. And it's one of her first movies too. She was hot right through this period. Number 9, Search for Spock. Star Trek 3. Spock is not in most of the movie, but Leonard Nimoy directed it. It's the first time he directed a Star Trek movie, and supposedly pretty good. It's not the best. I think the rule of thumb, the conspiracy theory is that even numbered Star Trek movies are the good ones. So this being 3, but I always remember liking it. Number 8, Romancing the Stone. We talked about this one in another video. I consider it kind of that genre of post-Indiana Jones, adventurer, comedy action, comedy. Is that what it is? Is that what you call it? I think after the allure started wearing off on a lot of the Sylvester Stallone and Arnold movies, they started getting into some more of the comedy with the action thing, and the chemistry between Kathleen Turner and Michael Douglas and Danny DeVito is just amazing. They ended up doing 2 or 3 movies together, and so good. I did see it recently on YouTube for free, and I don't know if it's still on there. They come and take stuff, come and go with stuff, but there's plot holes all the way through it. You gotta severely suspend your disbelief. But if you can do that, it's a fun movie. Number 7 is Footloose. And once again, John Lithgow. I didn't realize Sarah Jessica Parker was in that movie. Obviously, Kevin Bacon. It was the start of his... Actually, he's in Animal House, so he's been around for 5 or 6, 7 years already, but it was his first big movie. And speaking of which, I wonder, he never really was considered part of the Brat Pack. I wonder why. Number 6, Police Academy. And you either love it or you hate it. It's just raunchy, and it's a weird combination of raunchy boner movie stuff and just silly slapsticky kind of comedy, visual gags and all that. Michael Winslow I was always enamored with the making the sounds with these voice and stuff, sound effects and what have you. But Steve Guttenberg just pulled the lottery ticket through the 80s, just became one of the highest grossing actors of all time with Had to Be Nice, minimal talent, I guess. He's got a lot of exuberance. He's got a lot of character, energy, and all that. But he's mediocre actor for however many blockbuster movies he was in. But number 5, Karate Kid. I've watched a lot of that Cobra Kai show, but it looked pretty good. And they're really sticking to the legacy of the Karate Kid. Those guys are doing a good job with that. The big takeaway in hindsight, years later, and analysis, much like Star Wars, where the rebels were kind of the bad guys, really. Daniel is kind of the bad guy in Karate Kid. It's just crazy when you just look at it from the other side. It's Karate Kid is, to me, it's a little problematic in a lot of ways, but still classic. 4, Gremlins. Jesus. One of the greatest 80s movies of all time. And if you haven't seen it in a million years, maybe you might not want to, because it doesn't hold up in a lot of ways. It's kind of weird and gory, and her little speech about her dad dying on Christmas, and it's just kind of a downer. I always thought of Gremlins as a kid movie, and it's just gory and it's sad in certain places like that, and it's got a weird energy. And they wanted it to be way darker. The original screenplay was just like gory as shit. It was almost like a slasher film, a monster movie. It's more of a monster movie. But the way they marketed it was with Mogwai, cute little Mogwai. And so kids wanted to see it, and it just is not the movie that kids thought it was. Once again, Joe Don Baker is the dad, and Phoebe Cates was crush through the 80s. And yes, it is a Christmas movie. Where are we at? Number 3, Temple of Doom. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Once again, darker themes. It's got the PG-13 rating. See, now it's been so long since I've looked it up. I can't remember if that was the movie that inspired it, right? So maybe in retrospect they've put the PG-13 rating on it, but it might have been R when it first came out. I can't remember. I should have looked that up before I started filming this, but Kate Capshaw is so beautiful in this movie, and it's no surprise that Steven Spielberg snatched her up, but her character is so annoying. One thing I read, there's 72 screams, and they're all atrocious. It makes this movie just unwatchable for me. I love Indiana Jones with the bottom of my heart. Mix my metaphors there, but from the bottom of my heart. But God, she's so annoying. I cannot do Temple of Doom. It's just awful. Q Kwan is amazing. It's the only other movie he did, I think, besides Goonies, before he kind of retired from Hollywood and then came back with this miraculous career in the last year or so. Last 2 or 3 years, I guess. 2 years. God, how long has it been since that movie came out? It's just, time just flying. The monkey brain eating scene. It's just another movie that I think they marketed it to a younger audience than it was actually intended for, forsaking the PG-13 rating. So there you have it. Number 2 is Ghostbusters. Jeez, gotta be top 5 greatest 80s movies of all time. Ernie Hudson's character was extended when he came along, but he's always kind of the forgotten fourth member of the group. John Belushi was originally supposed to do the Bill Murray character, and I guess they considered Michael Keaton. Also stars William Atherton as the bad guy, who he's just the perfect bad guy in everything. He's just, you'll see that. I'll mention him in a lot of these 70s movies. I had no idea he went back that far in film, but he's kind of the, he's not the bad guy, but he's the foil, whatever you call the pratfall guy in Die Hard, and just a million movies. William Atherton is amazing. And the number one movie of 1984 was Beverly Hills Cop. It would be the only thing that could keep Ghostbusters out of number one. And Eddie Murphy was just unstoppable in the first part of the 80s. This is more of that, he kind of invented that action comedy thing. Because Beverly Hills Cop is kind of a dark movie, just like a lot of these other ones. It seems to be a trend. It seemed to be a trend through 1984. I wonder if I remember noticed that in the lesser ranking ones in all those old videos. Go back and look and see. But such a good movie. Probably a perfect movie. Beverly Hills Cop is just amazing. Jonathan Banks is one of the bad guys, and it's just a great movie. So, that was 1984 in movies. Finally wrapped it up. I can change this sign and get on to some of my other ones. So, just share my videos with anybody that you know that likes music and movies, and please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 100. And thanks. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.